When I was in 3rd grade, I had a phone and it was like one of those cheapo phones. I needed it because I don't. My parents wanted me to have a phone so I could call them. Anyways, I had a phone when I was like in 3rd or 4th grade. And one night I was on my phone. I was texting my friends and they had sent me one of them had sent me this huge chain story text message. And it's one of those text messages where it's like, oh, if you have to send it to 10 people or 7 people or else you're going to die tonight. But basically, the chain text message was a story about this girl. I will not say her name because I have not said her name ever since this instance because it's still like her name gives me chills. But anyway, it was about this girl who she didn't have any friends. She was kind of a loner and 2 friends had befriended her or something, and they took her into the woods to hang out or something. I don't freaking know. But then they pushed her down a well and she died. And then in the story, it talked about this guy named David or something like that who had read the text message of the story and he didn't send it to 7 or 10 people and he saw her in his room. And he died and then I was like, this is stupid, I'm not gonna do that. And then the next night, so the way that my house is set up, there's my room on the complete opposite side of the house upstairs. And then there's this movie, family where all of my family gets together and we watch movies and stuff that's downstairs on the opposite side of the house. And so the next night after I had gotten that text message, me and my family were watching a movie and my mom was like, Yana, go upstairs and take a shower because it's getting late and you need to get ready for bed. And like the good girl I am, I made my little way upstairs into my bedroom. So the bedroom of my childhood house faced the street where all the street lamps are. So even at night, when I have the blinds open, the light shines into my room. So I can kind of see what I'm doing, and I can see outside into the street. So in my head, I was just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to grab my clothes, and then not even going to turn on the lights and just head my way to the bathroom. So I'm grabbing my clothes here and my window. You guys are my window. And so I grab my clothes, and I look over, and outside I just see this woman with really dark black hair and her eyes were glowing, looking into my room like this, like she was looking for something. And then for a good 10 seconds she was looking around the room, and then she finally sees me and makes eye contact with me. And I was just frozen in fear for a good 20 seconds while she just stared into my soul. And number one, I've thought about this so logically. I was like, oh, maybe it's some random girl who just made her way onto my roof. But no random girl's eyes glow in the middle of the night.
When I was a freshman in high school, I and my friend decided to make a ouija board and play it in my room. You may be asking yourself, why did you make it? Because I've come to find out that when you make things with intention, it is worse. So this person I was around had already experienced a lot of things with ghosts. I had only seen one, and I was almost certain that it was just a family member. So we shut off the lights. I had this little table. It's sitting over there. And we put the Ouija board. I put the planet on. We lit a candle. And we put a small piece of silver on the corner, and we're asking dumb questions like, who are you? How old are you? Whatever. And the planchette is moving, but it's it. Feels so strong that I'm convinced it's her pushing it, and it's answering normally I don't remember the answers to that, but I do remember the answer to this one. I got fed up with the planchette moving so quickly that I asked the board something that my friend wouldn't know, and I proceeded to ask it. If you're so real, what is my grandfather's middle name? So when my grandfather passed, I am almost certain that we did not put his middle name on his obituary because nobody knew that. And that was something within my family that we did not share, etc. There were 5 letters in his middle name. The planchette stopped moving when I asked the question. We sat there for probably 15 seconds and I was like, this is fake. I knew you were pushing it. And as I'm saying that, it starts moving. It goes to the first letter and it's right. It goes to the second letter and it is right. It goes to the third letter, and as it's heading for the third, I take my hands off. I know, big no. No, and I'm absolutely horrified. It finished spelling his middle name, and afterwards, I put my hands back on. We said goodbye. I blew the candle out, and we just went on our way because that was too much. Now the backyard at my parents' house is set up where we have a lot of shrubbery and tall trees. And after a session with the Ouija board, we decided to do something that we thought would be fun, which is taking photos in my backyard. And it's important to note that the room that I had at my parents' house in the basement, the window in the room faced out towards the backyard. And as we were taking photos against this shrubbery, I had my back faced away from the window. My mom is the only one home. And as I'm taking pictures of my friend, we hear, "Hey," in a whispered voice. We both turn around. We don't see any movement. My parents' room was right above where I lived. So I'm convinced it's my mom messing with me. I run inside. I go upstairs. I fly through her door and she is asleep. I wake her up. I'm like, "Why did you scare us?" She had no idea what I was talking about. And for a long time, I was like, "No, I know it was you because you told us not to do that," and blah, 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 blah. Ratted myself out. And she immediately was like, "I did not mess with you, and I will get into how I know it wasn't her." The following month after this happened was the scariest month I can possibly think that I had activity in my house. So a week after we played with this board, my sister bursts into my room at 6 a.m. and she's like, "I have something to talk to you about, and I don't know what it was." Okay, weird. Because my sister usually sleeps until noon and she's up at 6 o'clock. Willingly. And she says she has something to tell me because she doesn't know what it was. I immediately have a weird feeling. She begins to tell me how she essentially astral projected out of her body and was looking at herself sleep through her window, which is on a slope at my parents' house, and she saw something leaning over her body. When she woke up, my dog was gristled up, teeth showing, snarling, growling, and barking at the corner in the middle of the night. I didn't tell her about the board. I didn't tell her what we did. I didn't tell her anything. I just said, this probably just a nightmare. I think it was just whatever, because I didn't want to scare her the week after that. So we're 2 weeks post Ouija board session and my parents are out of town in Colorado and my sister is at my cousin's house staying the night. So I was home alone and there's a little note to me as a person. I don't like the dark. And this particular night, I felt so comfortable walking in the dark. It was really weird. The only light source, I was shutting all the lights off for the night. The only light source was coming from my room. So there's the big doorway of just light. Next to my room is this built-in bar area. I'm walking through the dark. I'm pretty much in the doorway of light at this point. And I hear, whoa. I hear that was really weird. I hear, "Hey," right next to my ear. Ran into my room, barricaded the door, and I did not come out until my sister came home the next day. And don't get me wrong, I've heard weird stuff at my house before. I have never heard anything or anyone talk to me, and I was the only one home. And the last thing that happened to me was not necessarily a situation. I always felt like there was someone in my room. I always felt like there was someone either standing outside my window like my sister dreamt about her doing, or I always felt like there was someone in my closet. And yes, that's a very common thing, but it was so prevalent that I felt like I was going to walk into my closet and there was going to be a human being there. I'm also a firm believer that if you are trying to mess with these things and try to provoke these things, they will catch you off guard. I am a firm believer of that. So I've had experiences since then that were related to paranormal activity, but nothing related to that. And I know because I can feel it. So that is why I don't mess with those anymore. I don't think I will ever touch another one ever. And in my story about the museum, that is what made me extremely nauseous. And I'm convinced it was because there was something attached to the word, but just do anything else. There are so many different things that you can do to try and see activity. Don't do that.